So President Biden had a very bad week, as you just heard. He was dealt setbacks on everything from vaccine mandates to voting rights. However, the biggest issue facing his embattled presidency might be the economy, particularly inflation. In fact, from December 2020 to December 2021, overall prices went up a whopping 7%. Gas prices have skyrocketed nearly 50%, and staples like meat, fish, and eggs are up 12.5%. Can the president turn the ship around and take charge of economic problems? Let's bring in Iowa Republican Senator Joni Ernst, member of the Armed Services, Environment and Public Works, Agriculture, Nutrition and Forestry, and Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committees. You're a busy senator. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Great to be with you, John.
Yeah, I have a friend who just got over COVID, was looking for chicken soup today. Could not find chicken noodle soup anywhere. What's going on?
No.
Can you blame that on President Biden?
Well, I'd rather blame it on President Biden than someone else, because this falls squarely on his shoulders. We have supply chain difficulties. We still have raging COVID, even though he said he would put that one to rest. We have a porous southern border. We have the highest inflation we have seen in 40 years. This has been a disastrous presidency thus far, not to mention in the area of national defense, we saw a disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, threats now coming from China and Russia. Where does it end, John?
Well, you tell me. You're in perhaps a better position to be able to assess that. The president's poll numbers as low as 33% on some of those topics that we just talked about. He's got 3 years left in office. It's hard to see where this goes from here.
Well, this is extremely discouraging. And for those of us in Congress, we struggle to find solutions with an administration that is so out of touch with everyday Americans. Here I sit in Red Oak, Iowa, where my neighbors are struggling with gas prices. And this is an Iowa winter, and the heating bills are ever increasing. So families are making very tough decisions right now about their spending ability and their spending habits. So it's going to be very difficult for the rest of this administration if they just can't start focusing on what is going on with average everyday Americans, rather than focusing on things like breaking the Senate rules and traditions with getting rid of the filibuster and federalizing elections. These are not the things that Iowa voters are concerned about.
The Wall Street Journal's Jason Furman put out a list of reasons that we should continue worrying about inflation. I want to read those bullet points to you now. The labor markets this year are tighter than they were in 2021. Demand is going to be remaining above pre-COVID trends, but supply likely is going to lag behind. Near-term inflation expected to be up 1 to 3 points higher than last year, and the unpredictable trajectory of the pandemic. But we all remember President Biden campaigned saying he had a plan to shut down the virus, not shut down the economy. Has anybody ever seen that plan?
We have not seen that plan, not certainly in Congress. And it doesn't seem that he really wants to get the economy up and going when he wants to continue spending trillions of dollars, even with our supply difficulties and our labor shortages. So we need to get our economy up and going again. That means getting people back to work, opening up, making sure that we have the testing supplies that are necessary as we navigate through variants and COVID. And we haven't seen any real solutions coming from this administration. Again, instead of focusing on what is concerning to Americans, those pocketbook issues, they continue to focus on things like breaking the filibuster and what they are calling voting rights, which we know is a federal takeover of local and state elections.
Meantime, while we've got economic problems of our own in this country, especially high inflation, the president, the administration is actually sending money to the Taliban. I know you've written the president about that.
Absolutely, John. This is, again, very concerning, is that this ban basically on dollars that would flow through the Taliban and the Haqqani Islamic network, that ban has been in place since President Bill Clinton. And yet this administration, Joe Biden, quietly before the end of 2021, provided licenses, basically waivers, to allow taxpayer dollars to flow through the Taliban and the Haqqani Islamic network. So these terrorist organizations, they will be absorbing the aid dollars that are going into Afghanistan. We need a full accounting of those dollars to make sure that it is actually going to aid and not to those terrorist networks.
It doesn't seem like the Taliban is likely to, be too concerned about releasing money as aid. They want it for their own purposes, don't they?
Absolutely, John. Unfortunately, I'm afraid that's the situation we're facing. And in the meantime, we have 22 million Afghans that are suffering from starvation and a very harsh Afghan winter.
Yeah, they had it reasonably good, at least while U.S. troops were there. They don't anymore.
Right.
Senator Joni Ernst, Republican of Iowa. Senator, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.